guys, it's Waffle and me, Demon Size Synthwave, and we want to talk about action figures. And there's been, I think it's a New York Toyfair 2019 recently, where a lot of new figures have been released from all different genres and all different properties, all different IPs, and there's been some incredible figures released, I think, this time. From all across, from Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Star Wars. There's so many, and I'm obviously just going to concentrate on the Star Wars ones because there's something really interesting about Toyfair this year, which we saw earlier on, and it was that the original 1977 figures are being re-released as classic. I can't remember what they're called now. The retro range. I think there's only like 5 so far that are being released. I think there's Chewbacca, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia and Han Solo. 5. But we're pretty excited about them. It's possible we may pick them up. I know you want one in particular, right? There's no surprises which one you're going to get. Princess Leia. And I'm going to cover it now. I'm just going to go into the website that we saw the article on, the 4-star.net. Everyone knows it. And it's been covered on all different websites, so it doesn't matter which one you go on. But we just happened to see some really good pictures on the 4-star.net. And the figures themselves are in their original packaging with an extra bit of, I can't tell if it's a label or if it's part of the printing, but they've got this retro sticker on the front of the packaging to differentiate them between the original 1970s ones. And they look amazing, they look great. And they're pretty good price for $9.99, which kind of work out which area of the world that translates to in your currency. But here in the UK, I think it's about £7, something like that. But it'll probably be about £10 by the time it's released over here because of taxes and import and whatever. I'd be inclined to buy all these. I'd be inclined to buy all the original figures and have them on a carousel. Can you imagine them being on a carousel in in a display room or something instead of in a cabinet? But keep them in their cards and display them on a carousel. And then it'd be like being in a toy shop. You could rotate the carousel around and see all the figures in their packaging. And I can see if these are becoming popular, I reckon they might, do you think, release the whole lot of them from like 1977 to 1984? You'd pretty much like that, wouldn't you? Even though there was only one variant of Chewbacca that was ever released. Yeah, well, there's nothing you can do about it. They only did one. They were cheap at the time, They didn't have all this like advanced molding and design processes that they have these days. So there was one Chewbacca mold that they had throughout the entire series. But I think we'll have a look at the article and see what everyone thinks. So we'll just dive into it now. And I'll just put up on the screen for everybody. Just going through, scroll down here. And it says, I'll read through what it says as well. So, Star Wars retro action figure line banks on nostalgia. Toyfair 2019 is underway in New York City this weekend, and one new product launch seems to have been spoiled by Target. Target had the figures shown below up for pre-order earlier since removed. This appears to be the first wave of this style action figure. Hopefully we learn more today from Toyfair. And then we can see all the actual fronts of the cards here from the first six figures it is. I've missed out the Stormtrooper. So Tatooine Luke, Diplomat Leia, Smuggler Han, Chewbacca, Stormtrooper without removable helmet, Darth Vader with extendable lightsaber. And they look exactly like the 1977 ones. And I can't believe they haven't done this before. I can't believe they haven't actually released these before because of the nostalgia factor. There's a lot of money to be made here, and I just thought they weren't going to release the original types of figures because it would devalue the original ones from the 70s and a lot of collectors would be upset. But here they are with the Kenner packaging and everything, and they look beautiful. And these are obviously a must for not only collectors but any fans of Star Wars and the true original fans from the 70s and 80s from the first time around. So the highlights, it says here, inspired by Star Wars 70s style action figures, Star Wars Retro Collection 3.7-inch scale Star Wars feature original Kenner figure design and detail and Star Wars movie inspired back cards, each sold separately, subject to availability. 5 points of articulation with the basic articulation of the classic Kenner figures. Well, I think that's 4 points of articulation for the Stormtrooper and Chewbacca. The legacy continued. Look for other Star Wars Retro Collection figures to continue the collection from a galaxy far away. Inspired by Star Wars 70s style action figures, the Star Wars Retro Collection 3.75-inch scale figures feature original Kenner figure design and detailing and make a great addition to any nostalgic Star Wars collection. Imagine the excitement of the 70s when the Star Wars original trilogy had just begun and Kenner began releasing classic Star Wars figures for avid fans of the space saga. With figures inspired by the original sculpt and design of the 70s, the Star Wars Retro Collection lets fans and collectors continue their collection from a galaxy far, far away. Additional figures, each sold separately. So that's pretty exciting for everyone, for true fans of Star Wars and for collectors. I can see there's a lot of so-called fans out there, more like posers, that think they are, that wouldn't even touch these. But, for the true fan, these are an absolute essential purchase. If these are successful, I can see them releasing the entire series right up to 1984. And the ones with the coins in them. But the important thing here, I think, that I'm sure a lot of people out there are thinking is Hasbro and Hasbro Kenner. I think that it's very telling of the merchandise when they're re-releasing these classic figures to appeal to original fans. When the most recent movies, excluding Rogue One, and maybe Resistance as well, have kind of put off long-term fans and put off older collectors of the merchandise. And I think it's an attempt to try and get them back. I mean, this would get you back, would it? Really enthusiastic. Especially the Chewie figure, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of fans that have been burnt by Kennedy Film Disney's decision to do what they did with recent films, and they're not going to give any money to the franchise. But these are going to be hard for people to resist, I think. But I mean, I guess if fans went out and bought these figures and left all the rest of the stuff, I think that would be kind of giving Disney and Hasbro the message about what people want. And it seems like they know what people want because they're giving them the original figures and they're giving them, they're appealing to the original fans, when certain people in the industry have told those original fans to don't buy it, leave the franchise if you don't like it anymore, go away, and it's not for you anymore. And that's a terrible way to speak to fans, and it's a bad idea, bad customer service and bad customer relations, and a bad sense of business, really. I mean, you could run a business way better than them, I think. I mean, you've told me plenty of times how much better that you could run both Hasbro and Kennedy Film, right? And, sure he could. I mean, Waffle's pretty good at business, so, I mean, you're a pretty successful businessman, so, if you just took over Kennedy Film, I mean, the stuff that you've told me that you would do to change it, I'm totally on board. I mean, I'd vote for you. But these seem like a decision that you would have made, releasing these figures. And what do you think, guys? I mean, put a comment down below and let me know, or let us know, because you read them as well, about what you think to this release and the decision to relaunch the original designs for the figures in their original packaging as they were in 1977, and it's beautiful, really. I reckon they'll do not only figures, I reckon they'll do the vehicles too. What do you think to that? Is that too much to ask for, maybe? You think they're just going to stick to the figures? I mean, there's certain things that I would love to see, like the TIE Fighter and the Millennium Falcon, because that's your favourite ship. And I think Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, I mean, it'd be great to see them on shelves again, and I reckon they'd be guaranteed sellers because everyone loves the vintage stuff. I think it's just the most recent kind of plasticky cheap stuff that Disney have been releasing. Or Disney, Hasbro. What used to sell in Disney stores, which was shockingly bad, that has just been really cheap and has put collectors off. But this is a good way of getting people back on side. I mean, there's Master of the Universe that you're not really bothered about. Figures, Transformers, and they're all doing really, really good jobs from what I've seen from this toy fair. The detail and the workmanship that's gone into these toys. You're just staring at the screen. You really like that Chewbacca figure, don't you? It's like they've really paid attention and they're really putting money and effort into making this merchandise. They know what people want. They know they want quality and they know they'll pay for it. And especially the older collector where the money lies. And obviously the older collectors are going to buy these as presents for the young kids as well. So it makes sense for Hasbro to be doing this business-wise. If they want money, then they'll know that this is the way to go. Maybe they've done some kind of like crowdsourcing questionnaire to inquire about what fans want, and they're finally giving it to them. Whether this will translate into the movies themselves or not, I mean, what do you think is a possibility of that? I mean, from what I've seen so far, it seems pretty, unlikely. But I mean, we've got some figures here. Do you want to have a look through them? And we'll just go quickly through these figures. That, I mean, they're not, these aren't things that you can pick up on the toy shelves. But I've kept them all in a box because I've been, I've moved a few times and things have had to be put in boxes and things. But we just opened up the box. Now this one is one of my favourites. I mean, I don't think you've played Knights of the Old Republic, have you? When did you play Knights of the Old Republic? With those fingers. We've got Bastilla Shan, and that is... I managed to get that one on a vintage style card as well, which is phenomenal. And that one is one of my most treasured ones because Bastilla is one of my favourite characters from the Old Republic games, from the Knights of the Old Republic game. And it says character debut, never before offered as a figure. And I've had to keep that one in the bubble because I just thought, when you take them out, it kind of loses something. I wish I could have bought two, but that would have been expensive. So I kind of left it just at the one. And we've got some concept figures here as well, which is great. Check this out. Check these. These are the Ralph McQuarrie concept figures that I bought just after Star Wars Celebration. It's probably before you were born, to be honest, years ago. And this is Darth Vader. This is the McQuarrie concept Darth Vader, which just looks phenomenal. Hopefully you can see that on camera there. And it's in this like specifically designed kind of packaging, not retro, but in a kind of a concept style packaging. That's beautiful. And of course these are kept in boxes. Some of these I opened up, and don't look at me like that. Some of them I opened up because they were just too good to leave in the packet because I wanted to play with them. I wanted to get them out, position them on the shelf and everything. But that's a great one. And then I've got lots of these, so I better go through them pretty quickly. This is the Rebel Fleet Trooper, or Rebel Trooper as it's called on the packet. There's a kind of crazy looking clamshell style helmet there. I'm sure you can see that. Very distinctive looking, and it kind of still looks like Star Wars. I mean, it would do because McQuarrie designed it. And oh, look at this! Check that. Yeah, this is another by any other name, Zeb Aurelius. This is concept Chewbacca right there with his freaky looking face. I mean, that's pretty scary. I mean, that's not Chewbacca as you know him, but great. Look at the detail on there. And I think they're like Black Series kind of articulation as well. So they've got elbows and knees and everything. Wonderful. And collector's coins. They all come with collector's coins too, which kind of like increases the volume. I'm guessing they're metal coins. I haven't taken them out of the packet. These ones anyway. This one is Concept Snowtrooper. With a freaky looking face, but it's early obviously concept design. But great design there. And there's a friend of mine that's watching right now, Raoul. I know you're watching, buddy. You probably got all these already yourself, but I think you'll be appreciating this. They're great looking figures. And then we have Starkiller Hero. It just says Starkiller Hero. It doesn't say if it's Luke, it doesn't say if it's Leia or anyone, but it's just Starkiller with blue lightsaber, blaster, and kind of like breather pack. But this is the one where I guess Luke Skywalker was conceived as being a girl. And she's in like a kind of a Rey kind of costume. You can see that there. And that's the classic Starkiller design before Luke was devised. And these, like, I've got a few here that are in like protective plastic packaging, bubble packaging. This is Luke concept. So this isn't Starkiller, this is Luke concept from the classic Vader versus Luke artwork with his breather mask on and purple jersey and yellow lightsaber. And there's these plastic kind of clamshell packets that you can see here. But yeah, great figure. And of course that was previously available as a two-pack sort of statue of Luke versus Vader. And this is, look at how weird. This is a really weird one. Now this was before Obi-Wan and Yoda were really kind of conceived properly in the movies. But we've got a bald Obi-Wan and a very slender, kind of slightly different looking Yoda there as a two-pack. I think it's a wonderful two-pack. What a great idea for a two-pack. Again with a coin and great Macquarie artwork on the card as well. And then we have another one of yours that you like, Han Solo. And this is kind of, looks very un-Han Solo-like, but with a lightsaber, holding his blaster. And again, like, I think 9 points of articulation. Look at that design right there. That's like classic The Star Wars style, isn't it? Straight from the movie poster, from that classic concept movie poster that Macquarie did. And with a cape as well, flowing. What a great looking figure. And these are all the concept figures. I think we've got one more. These are all the concept figures from Macquarie's original designs. One or two more, actually. These aren't Macquarie concept ones. These are the more Old Republic figures. Darth Malak, who's the big bad guy from the first Knights of the Old Republic game. A lot of people know that. A lot of people have seen that figure. But, I mean, what did you think to Darth Malak when you played the game? Did you think he was a good character? Good villain? Yeah, there was a good reveal, wasn't there, in that game that was, yeah, we won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't played it. But Malak was kind of involved to a degree. And this is the big reveal in the game, wasn't it? The big twist character. Darth Revan, who everyone loves. Now, this is a Toyfair fan's choice. So, a lot of people voted, obviously, for that one. But there he is in his full garb with lightsaber. Only one lightsaber. I thought he would have had a yellow, a purple and a red, but just the red one. I think that's a great figure, that one. Whether you can remove his suit or probably not, but I don't know how much of that is real fabric that you can move, but it's staying in his packet anyway. That's really good packaging. No, there's one more. We've forgotten. And this is a great one. This is Concept R2-D2 and C-3PO. Again in the clamshell packaging. There you go. From the very, very old concept art that Macquarie did, where back when George Lucas decided that R2-D2 was an English speaking or galactic basic speaking droid, not speaking in binary beeps and tweets and things like that. That's pretty much the extent of my Star Wars collection these days. I mean, I sold a lot a few years ago when I desperately needed the money, but I kept the ones that were most special to me, and those concept figures are amazing. But again, the new decently priced retro style figures I think are really attractive to collectors, and it'll be very, very difficult for me to not pick those up. If I ever saw them in the store, I think I'd definitely pick them up. Whether they're for sale or not in the UK, I'm not sure, but they'll definitely be in the States, and I'm not sure if they're a Target exclusive. I don't think it said that they were an exclusive to Target, but it was just that Target stock, or Target themselves, leaked reports of these figures. If there's any more information coming out, I'll be sure to cover it and get a video out. But for now, that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye from Waffle. You gonna wave? We'll see you guys in the next one. And hopefully again it'll be for good news. I think this is pretty good news for a change, right? See you later. And a quick update, everybody. I found out on the same website, just as I was finishing up the video, that a further bonus Grand Moff Tarkin figure is going to be released with those 6. So that's a brand new version of Moff Tarkin that was never released in the original 1970s lineup. I think collectors are going to be all over this one, and when it gets finally released, this is going to be super popular. So just an extra bit of info there for you.